Today we're going to look at the difficult issue of motivating people within this current environment. We're joined today by Professor Mike Bourne. Now Mike's an expert in this area. Mike, you've seen a lot of companies, a lot of situations, and what are people telling you at the moment about the kind of environment they're having to work in?
It's a very difficult environment out there, and we're trying to motivate people. Some organisations have got resources, some haven't. And that makes it difficult for companies to do this.
So, I mean, I guess the kind of things that people are up against are pay's often quite tight, you can't recruit people, maybe the business isn't as strong as it's been. All those things are pretty demotivating things, aren't they?
I think they are, but I've seen a number of companies quite recently turn this around and make it. One organisation I've been looking at recently, a bakery, and they are not as busy as they should be, but they know within 12-18 months that the whole thing is going to come better again. And they've deliberately taken an attitude that they're going to hang on to their staff. And their staff are finding it is quite hard, but they are genuinely worried about their staff being worried about their jobs. And they're doing absolutely everything they can to reassure them that this is the way we're going to go. But not all organisations are in that situation. And I remember talking to a company not far from here in Cranfield who were in a desperate situation. They got no money, they were losing money, and they were losing staff. And one of the things they did, and it was really quite interesting, was actually to listen to what their staff wanted. They had no resources to give them any more money, but things like flexi time, things about providing benefits that they could get, that the company could achieve for them, that didn't actually cost the company, but the staff actually appreciated. And just having that listening going on was just a real motivation for the staff, because suddenly they realised that the company was interested in them and giving them everything they could do in that environment.
And I guess keeping people informed of the situation too. I
think a lack of information creates a void in which rumours circulate, doesn't it? So telling the staff exactly where they are and what is going on is absolutely critical, because they can see what orders are coming in, they can see how busy the shop is, they can see, what stocks are left. So they understand what's going on and have a pretty good feel. And if you don't keep them informed, the best will leave and the rest will be demotivated.
So what can you do at a middle management level? People who are saying, well, I haven't got charge of policies on communications or pay and so on, but it's me, I'm having to deal with these people day to day.
Middle management have an absolutely crucial role in this, because the middle management are the people who talk to the most of the people in the organisation. They're the people usually who are informed. And as a middle manager, I think you've got to tell people as much as you're possibly allowed to within the organisation environment. And if that's not very much, you've got to lobby the senior management to tell people more, because that is critical. I know middle managers who tell people off the record what is going on, and they tell them it's off the record, and if it ever gets out, they've told them that there are problems because the organisation can't tell people anymore, and that works sometimes. But really, an organisation should be open, and so we don't put middle managers in that position.
One of the things that I've noticed over the years is managers tend not to recognise people very much. They tend not to say thank you very often.
Yeah.
It's a small thing, it doesn't cost a lot, but it counts a lot.
It does count a lot. Saying thank you is really very important. Giving people praise is very important too, because people, if the praise is genuine, it gives you a nice feeling. And it's much better to catch people doing things well and say, well done, thank you, than trying and catch people doing badly and reprimand them for it. So if you're in a situation like this, if you can catch things that are going well, that's a great way to lift the spirits of the individual and the whole organisation with it.
Sometimes people say, well, why don't we celebrate a little bit more? Needn't necessarily cost a lot. There's a danger, it feels to me, as though, if you start doing some of these things and you've not done them before, that it all feels a bit phony, a bit contrived.
It can do. I think if you've not done them before, you've got to be very careful how you start to do them, especially if the situation as it is. On the other hand, there are a lot of companies who've done it in the past when times are good and have pulled the horns in now. And the staff really feel that there is no celebration. quite often staff are working an awful lot harder in a recession than they are in good times. It's much harder to win that business. It's much harder to deliver. The customers have been very much more demanding. So occasionally I think we really do have to celebrate and say thank you to the staff for delivering a really good job. And if you don't do that, the staff, don't realise you really appreciate them.
So if I were to say to you, in a complex, difficult environment that people are in, what advice would you give them?
Clear communication is absolutely important. Give the praise when praise is due, and you've got to pick up on the bad performance. You've got to make sure too that anybody who's still swinging the lead in this environment, something is done about it, because that is appreciated by the staff who are left. And you've got to manage those people out of the jobs, because they could jeopardise the whole of the organisation. And then finally, I think it is about celebrating successes when you have it. You've got to give something back in this environment, and it may be a small thing, but even just a bottle of wine or something, or a small set of chocolates to say, look, thank you very much, is a really great lift at times like this.
That's great. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you.